Black Panther was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. He actually made his first appearance in the pages of Fantastic Four. He shows up, he's masked and everything, and he shows up, kicks all their butts, and then actually takes them to his kingdom of Wakanda. There was no character like Black Panther when he was first created. No character like that existed. Not just that, but just a prosperous, futuristic African country. It was unheard of.
Debuting in 1966, the Black Panther character brought a different take to how Africans were represented in comic books at the time.
African Americans were never portrayed very well in early comic books, and when Black Panther was introduced, he almost didn't even have like an agenda. He was just who he was, and that was something else. You had this character that broke all the stereotypes. It really turned the industry on its head.
Black Panther eventually spun off into the comic series Jungle Action. And while the character changed the way black people were perceived in comics, Black Panther also pushed back against the norms that comic books had established for themselves.
My favorite Panther story is probably Panther's Rage from the Jungle Action run. It was a story arc again that was right. It was challenging those perceptions of what a comic book needs to be. It was really in your face about it. You know, Black Panther fighting the KKK. You felt how angry he was, and you had that righteous fury burning inside you as you read it, and it makes you feel something, and that's what's fantastic.
Throughout the remainder of the millennium, Black Panther appeared in hundreds of Marvel comics, but it wasn't until the early aughts when the Black Panther that we know was introduced.
The Black Panther that we know today, that a lot of people saw with the first movie, the best example is the Reginald Hudlin, and yes, that Reginald Hudlin who made House Party. He actually reintroduced the character in the early 2000s, introduced characters like Shuri, introduced the larger supporting cast of Wakanda that we're going to be seeing in the new movie. All that came in the Reginald Hudlin run.
In October 2014, a Black Panther movie was officially announced. Versions of the film had been in and out of production since the 90s, but Marvel's announcement cemented a Black Panther theatrical release. Taking the helm of the Wakandan king was actor Chadwick Boseman, whose resume included him portraying prominent black figures such as James Brown and Jackie Robinson. Set to be released on February 16, 2018, the movie boasted a budget of $200 million and promised a primarily black cast, director, and crew. Unheard of at the time for such an expensive film, and something people had been clamoring for.
It's something that's been long overdue, but it says black excellence. It shows black cast, black director, it's Black Panther, it's Black History Month.
This is our culture, and a lot of African culture was implemented into the movie. It just shows how far we've come. It's a movie where black people aren't being told to do stuff by white people. We're not being seen as slaves.
It really says a lot about the culture, and it really speaks to who we are and where we've come from, and it also speaks to where we're going.
Well, I think we're part of a landscape right now where people are calling for recognition. They're asking for more agency in their lives and the narratives that are told about them. They're asking to be represented, and they're asking to be counted. And I feel this movie takes a brave step forward into that future that people are calling for.
I think this should inspire people of what's possible. The next round of writers, the next group of directors, the next group of producers, that this is something that we can do and we can achieve.
For Denai Guerrera, the Black Panther movie was a chance for her to act while fully embracing her heritage.
We're told to apologize for it, or to put it to the side, or not to portray it too strongly. And those are things that can diminish one's brilliance.
I knew that, this could be something that I would be proud of, but you never know if everybody else will feel that same way.
The buzz for Black Panther was at a fever pitch by opening night, and fans were ready for the experience.
I think that it is like history in the making for a lot of people, regardless of your race, and I am a huge, huge fan of Marvel, anything comic, so I know this is going to be an excellent movie.
For those seeing the movie, Black Panther was more than a film. For the first time, a big-budget blockbuster film featuring an African superhero would be portrayed on film screens worldwide.
Growing up, I always had a superhero to look at. I could always look at Spider-Man, I could always look at Superman. Not everyone had that. They didn't have a character that represented who they were, that they could look up to like that. What these kids, after seeing Black Panther, it changed something. It was optimistic, it was hope.
To have a superhero that looks like you, I would have longed for it too as a kid, right? And I think about some of the superheroes that I had. They were my heroes, but I don't recall having any of them like that looked like me. So if I was excited about just having a superhero as a kid, what in the world would that volume have gone to if that superhero had looked like me?
Both of them want to be Black Panther all of a sudden. It's a beautiful thing. They get to see a young black superhero, and instead of just seeing Superman and Batman all the time, you see the Black Panther, somebody that actually looks like them. And it's a beautiful thing.
The Black Panther's Royal Guard, the Dora Milaje, is a group of highly trained, highly skilled African women, and something Reverend Renee Kessler is proud to see represented on the big screen.
As a black woman, to see the amazing cast of black women who were leaders in their community, who were supporters of their community, who loved their community, who protected their community, who cared for their community. For me, that was just empowering and impactful in so many ways, because indeed that's always been the case, and yet we've not seen that on the big screen. So seeing that play out was beautiful. For me, Black Panther was a public display of excellence.
The film also introduced the masses to the world of Wakanda.
I think the Black Panther is a great way to show what it would look like if oppression didn't exist, if colonizers hadn't destroyed Africa and stolen all of its knowledge. And it teaches kids about history, it teaches kids about how to look at their present, and I think also to inspire them to see that like a world is possible without some of the things that we're dealing with today.
We got to see innovation at its finest. We got to see technology at its finest. And then never mind to, on top of that, put the cultural aspect of the clothing, right? The colors, the ambiance. So the excellence that was inside also protruded on the outside. And we got to see that.
Black Panther went on to gross over $1.3 billion at the box office and started a cultural phenomenon. And people across the globe began saluting Wakanda.
What they were really doing is they were saluting the impact of that movie and how it made them feel too. And I don't care what color you are or what your background is. I think there's something for everyone in that film.
On August 28, 2020, Chadwick Boseman passed away after a battle with colon cancer. The news sent shockwaves through the world.
Getting to see a black superhero like that, and a guy who lived like a superhero. Chadwick Boseman was a fantastic person. You know, that it hurt so much to see this awesome light, this awesome inspiration just all of a sudden gone.
There's some special people who, whether you've met them or not, you feel like you know them. You feel like they're a part of your circle. They're a part of your friendship. I think because of the film that he did, I was connected to him. I connected to him in that film. So when I heard it, my first reaction was, whoa, where'd that come from? As it began to sink in, I began to become extremely saddened that we don't get more of him. And then the mother in me kicked in, and I became very proud to know that he was struggling, that he was sick, and to not look like what he was going through is amazing. And yet, another testament to Wakanda. It's something about that, right, that inspires.
Marvel Studios opted not to recast Chadwick Boseman's iconic role, but the Black Panther sequel, Wakanda Forever, pushed forward in the hopes of honoring the late actor.
Our story very much embraces the grief that we were all feeling, and because T'Challa is gone in this story, the real question at the heart of this story is, how do you move on after tragedy, after loss? And that's what we needed.
He was our leader through that, through the phenomenon that the first film became. So really, it so feels like it's so grounded in him and rooted in the power of his spirit and his astounding leadership and generosity.
Gratitude. That's the word for today. Extreme gratitude. When I look at this poster, when I remember the work that we've done on set to make this come alive. Gratitude.
In Wakanda Forever, the mantle of Black Panther will be taken up by one of the film's many prominent female characters.
When I'm looking at that, I'm living the dream, because the reality of it is we've always been that. Black women they were always the superpower that held the glue that held the community together, that had the families together, that protected all of these wonderful things. So to see that play out on screen is a beautiful, beautiful moment and experience that I can't wait to have, because for me, it will embolden a whole nother generation of women.
Delta Sigma Theta, we are so excited about this showing of Wakanda Forever. We're meeting here as sisters. We're bringing our families and our friends out together to celebrate this movie coming out. And it's just an opportunity for us to fellowship with the community and with each other, and to also support a film that portrays Black people in a positive light.
The Delta Sigma Theta sorority was encouraged to wear white and African clothing in honor of the late Chadwick Boseman. Delta Knoxville alumni president Talisha Mims hopes that the film can be a bonding experience for the younger generation.
We as a people can come together, be unified for our common purpose, and that we can be protective of our own, that we actually have that mental acuity to achieve those things that we need to achieve in life, because life is not easy. So through the struggle, that you can come out on the other side of a deep struggle victorious.
I'm Sanaya, and we're going to watch my sister perform. It's going to be great.
Wakanda! Black Panther Wakanda Forever grossed an impressive $330 million worldwide in its opening weekend. And the celebration continued into its second weekend when Turn Up Knox teamed up with Drums Up, Guns Down and the Kumba Watoto dancers to bring the true sounds of Africa to a screening of the movie at Regal Cinemas.
So Turn Up Knox is a violence interruption program. So pretty much we strive to interrupt cycles of gun violence in the Knoxville area. Pretty much taking measures to create a safer and healthier community. You know, taking those uplifting measures to kind of tap into your heritage. It's, you know, kind of seeing the heroism that comes with Black Panther and being of African descent. I thought it would be a great idea to try to get a lot of our youth to be able to come and have a private screening for free and get to enjoy the movie.
The event's organizer hopes that Chadwick Boseman would be proud of the outpouring of support for the movie.
Pretty much another branch to be able to tap into his legacy. You know, I think he looked forward to young men and young women looking up to him and looking up to the culture and the Black Panther character. And so I think it's something that not only him, but the entire Black community could be proud about.
I hope it continues to inspire people, that continues to show not just a king, but someone else can rise up and be a hero.
I hope that it's blazing a trail that's setting the foundation for a standard, that we have to have more of this and more frequently. And again, for the next generations, hopefully this will be a natural thing for them, right? It'll be what they always look forward to and what they're used to. So for us, it's like an aha moment. For them, yeah, this is how we do it.